Right now, you are bored. Maybe not this second, but somewhere in the last hour, you picked up your phone for no reason at all. You just needed to not be alone with your own mind. It felt unbearable. But the real answer is far stranger. Your ancestors sat in silence for hours, sometimes for entire days, and reached for nothing at all. They didn't even have a word for what you're feeling. So, what were they actually doing with all that empty time? For most of human history, life did not look like constant labor. Anthropologist Marshall Sahlins studied hunter-gatherer societies and called them the original affluent society. Not because they had more stuff, because they had more time. Many foraging groups worked only a few hours a day. The rest belonged to them. No meetings, no deadlines, no scrolling. What would you even do with that? You'd probably guess they filled it with something productive. But that's not what the evidence shows. Anthropologist James Suzman lived with the hoansi people of the Kalahari and described adults resting and talking for hours, doing nothing of obvious use. No task, no urgency. Nobody around them thought it was strange. If you sat in silence that long today, you'd start to panic. Psychologist John Eastwood, who studies boredom at York University, describes it as a signal, not laziness, a mind reaching for meaning and finding nothing to grab onto. So why didn't your ancestors feel that same panic? Because their stillness wasn't empty. It was full of exactly what a human brain evolved to want: social contact, storytelling, the sky, the wind moving through grass. Their attention had somewhere to land. Researcher Herman Pontzer, who studies the Hadza of Tanzania, found their bodies weren't overworked and their minds weren't understimulated either. They were simply present in a way almost nobody manages now. You have unlimited stimulation in your pocket at every waking moment. Somehow you feel more restless than people who had almost nothing to look at except open land and each other. Unless boredom was never about having enough to do, it was about having something real to give your attention to. Here's the twist. Your ancestors were rarely bored the way you understand the word. Not because their lives were more exciting, because their attention wasn't constantly pulled apart. Stare at a wall today, and part of you is still thinking about the message you haven't answered. Your ancestors, staring at the same fire, had nothing competing for their focus. Their whole mind was allowed to be in one place. Yours almost never is. Your brain didn't evolve for constant novelty, it evolved for rhythm. Long stretches of quiet broken by real engagement. Not 50 scrolls a minute, each one a tiny decision. Researchers studying reward and attention have found the brain's dopamine circuitry responds to unpredictability. Every swipe is a small gamble your mind never evolved to resist. Their world didn't offer that gamble every few seconds, so their minds settled instead of spiking all day long. Maybe they got restless waiting for prey or waiting out a storm, but what filled that waiting was never a device promising the next hit of novelty. It was other people. Long conversations with no particular point. They weren't fighting boredom. They were living inside something modern life has almost erased, and this turns back on you. Every time you feel that itch to check your phone in a quiet moment, that isn't weakness. It's a mind built for a different rhythm of life, dropped into a world engineered to interrupt it constantly. Your ancestors' brains and yours are nearly identical. Only the environment changed. They lived in a world built for stillness. You live in one built to make stillness feel like a threat. So next time your hand twitches toward your pocket, pause, ask what you're actually running from. It's probably not boredom itself. It's the discomfort of a mind with nowhere urgent to put its attention. Your ancestors sat in that same stillness for hours without flinching. Not because they were more disciplined, because nothing around them was competing for the inside of their heads. Tonight, when you reach for your phone for no reason at all, stop for a moment first. Let the itch rise and pass, the way it did for every human before you who didn't have a screen to reach for. You are not broken. You are just remembering what your mind was actually built to do with silence.